Kika got the worst of it. Multiple broken bones and burns, but she should be all right. Already wants to get back to her lab.
Okay, great, but what about Skyler?
Yulia hit her head, banged herself up pretty good. Concussion, we think, but she's awake and talking. Don't think there's any permanent damage.
Wonderful also. What about Skyler?
Ophelia has some minor cuts and abrasions, no serious injuries beyond that.
Right, so seriously, Skyler?
And Beatrice has some burns on her face and a broken arm. Sophia's in with her now, should be all right too.
Yumi, for the love of everything, what's going on with Skyler and the baby?
Listen, it's weird. Really weird.
Weird how?
Dallas, why don't you come see for yourself? I don't want to crowd her with too many visitors just yet.
We'll just wait here, I guess.
Why do I feel like we're always left out of these things?
I promise I'll let you all know what's going on as soon as I can.
Fine, but tell Skyler we said hello.
I will.
Hey, Dallas.
Skyler, you look fine?
Yes, that's because I am fine.
But wait, you were unconscious, covered in burns and bleeding. How?
I have no medical explanation for this. I left the room for a minute to get some more gauze. When I came back, Skyler was awake and perfectly healthy.
And the baby?
The baby is just fine too.
But it was too close. I should never have gone in there. I should have listened to you, Dallas.
You beating yourself up for being impulsive? Who are you and what have you done with Skyler?
Bite me. I'm serious. It was one thing when it was just risking myself. That isn't the case anymore. Were it not for my miraculous recovery, I might have—
Try not to think about it, though this conversation is saving me from having to lecture you myself.
Yumi, you have no explanation for this? Skyler being all right, I mean?
None at all, like I said. By all accounts, she should still be out cold fighting for her and her baby's lives, but she's completely fine. Not that I'm complaining, but
It doesn't make any sense.
it doesn't make even the tiniest amount of sense.
What do you remember, Skyler?
Last thing I remember is being hit by that spear's power. Like nothing I've ever felt before. Happened so fast. Then everything went dark.
Wait, you were hit by the spear?
Well, the spear's energy, yeah.
Yumi, out in the hall, you suggested that the others were injured by the explosion that broke down the door, right?
That's what Kika said.
So Skyler was the only one hit by the spear.
You're suggesting that the spear might have something to do with why Skyler is all right?
There's a great deal we don't know about that thing. And it's the only difference that separates Skyler from the others.
It's as good an explanation as any. Can't believe Valencia would go this far, though.
Valencia?
Valencia Crusader. She's the one who attacked us.
You were telling me about that before. Do you know why she did this? What she wants the spear for?
Not completely, I can only guess. But based on what little she said, I think this is partially because of me.
You? What did you do to her?
Nothing technically, Look, it has to do with a rather difficult part of my life. Someone I lost. The first person I lost after my mother left.
I don't want to pressure you, but
But we need all the info we can get, I know. Listen, go talk to Azriel. Tell her it's Valencia, and also ask her about a girl named Jael.
I'm guessing that will mean more to her than it does to me.
Azriel will know exactly who I am talking about. You'll figure it out pretty quickly. I need to rest. Too much near-death experiences for one day.
I understand. I'll go talk to Spectre. Oh, and the others said to say hello.
Appreciate it, Dallas.
Valencia, surely you're joking.
That's what Skyler said. She seemed quite sure. Also wanted me to ask you about a girl named Jael.
Jael?
Yeah, I assume you know who she means?
I see now why Skyler didn't want to talk about this.
Well, I'm glad you do because I'm still pretty lost.
Have a seat, Dallas. This is a rather long story. Valencia Crusader was among the first of her family, and easily the most skilled.
It sure seemed that way when we fought her.
Her family was called the last of the gunfighters, because they were quite literally the last fighters designed with the idea that they'd be using their guns as a primary weapon. All American fighters developed after them would focus on their missiles. Some didn't have guns at all. The Crusader family distinguished themselves greatly over the years, but none so much as Valencia. She was in a league of her own. No one could best her in the entire Navy, and everyone respected her. She didn't flaunt her skills. She led by example, and her family followed her. Her sisters became better because of her influence, and the Navy was a better fighting force as a result.
I mean, that's all really nice. But what does this have to do with Skyler?
That leads me to Jael, Valencia's daughter.
Valencia has a daughter?
Valencia had a daughter, yes. apparently with some Marine Corps corporal she met on shore leave.
Her daughter was a hybrid?
That's right, and she was evaluated for her design's combat potential, as you can imagine. Designated XF-8U-3 Crusader 3, she was fast, real fast, and a much better dogfighter than her mother. A much better dogfighter than basically everything else in the sky at the time, honestly. Testing went quite well.
What happened?
Not long after Jael finished her solo tests, Vought began working on some mass-produced sisters for her. In the meantime, she was introduced to another little girl around her age, Angel Feather Phantom 2.
What? Skyler.
They got along very well. It was right after Lilith began working for us, so Skyler was alone and lonely. The two became fast friends and played many aerial games together. Unknown to them, as they were both just children, they were actually being put through comparative testing. Despite the boon that having two advanced hybrids gave them, the Navy only wanted one new plane, not two.
I think I'm starting to see what happened here.
Despite the fact that Jael was a superior dogfighter from a technical perspective, Skyler's design was selected. She was more flexible, able to do ground attack duties, and could carry more ordnance. Those two kids could never have realized that their friendship was doomed to end sooner rather than later. When the testing period ended, Jael was taken away. She and her few sisters were sent to NASA for high atmospheric testing. Then, some years later, she was scrapped.
Oh my God. But what did Valencia...
We don't know. Not exactly. It was known that she strongly objected to her daughter being evaluated at all, but was likely told it was the only way her child would be safe. Obviously, that was a lie. And just a week after Jael was scrapped, Valencia vanished while on a routine patrol.
Vanished?
Yes, she was just gone. No radio contact, no nothing. She was lost and presumed dead. But clearly she is still very much alive.
But that doesn't explain how she knew about the spear. There's still a lot of questions we need the answers to.
I agree, though I did figure out how she found out it was here. The archaeological site was attacked. Everyone is dead.
Everyone!
Everyone, yes. Whatever her end goals are, Valencia clearly isn't playing around. For now, I'm using every available resource to track her down. In the meantime, try to figure out what you can about that spear. Given Skyler's status, there's a lot that even Valencia doesn't know.
I'm on it. If you find her, I want to know immediately.
You can count on that.
I'm sorry to bug you about this. I know you're probably hurting quite a bit.
It's relatively minor, all things considered. I'm going to assume you're trying to figure out how to handle the spear, or maybe you're wondering how Skyler got away unscathed.
Can it be both?
Sure it can, but I have no clue how to handle fighting someone who possesses a weapon like that. It's completely uncharted territory for any of us, even me. As for the second thing, however, I've been thinking about that. I have some theories.
I'm all ears.
Well, the simplest explanation is that this Valencia character made a mistake. It was her first time using the spear. Maybe she just screwed up.
You really think it could be so simple?
Sure, it could be. But we also must consider Skyler's condition.
Condition? You mean her pregnancy?
Right. If we are to assume that the spear is the very real spear of Longinus, then its power comes quite literally from God himself, and as such, anyone using such power must adhere to God's rules of conduct.
I concede I'm not a Bible expert. Does it say anything about attacking pregnant women?
It is, in fact, one of the things the Bible is quite clear about. Exodus 21:22-25. If people are fighting and hit a pregnant woman and she gives birth prematurely, but there is no serious injury, the offender must be fined whatever the woman's husband demands and the court allows. But if there is serious injury, you are to take life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, bruise for bruise.
Didn't know you knew so much about Christian theology.
My trade requires a vast knowledge of spiritual belief, as you can imagine. In any case, it is possible that the spear quite literally rejected the idea of harming a pregnant woman, which Skyler is.
But the verse mentions punishment?
Before the attack started, the others and myself were discussing the possibility that the spear's use must require a serious consequence. Otherwise, people would have used it. Whatever the price is, it must have been too high to risk it, and so it was hidden away. Beatrice also translated the writing on it. It said, "Valiance be praised, heresy be purged."
Sounds like A warning?
I thought the same. While I believe we should find and stop Valencia as soon as possible, I have a feeling she will soon realize she's bitten off far more than she can chew.
What? But I don't understand. Why is this happening? God on high, what have I done to anger you, O Lord? Yes, I must be tested. Even like this, I can continue my work. I will complete my mission in your name, no matter the cost. Even if the price is my body, my mind, and my mortal soul, I will finish this great work, my God, Deus Vult.